Good evening. I'm Andrea Mulrine, and I'm the president of the League of Women Voters of Lackawanna County, and I welcome you all here this evening to the University of Scranton for our debate with the Republican candidates for the Lackawanna County Commissioner seats. The League of Women Voters is a political, nonpartisan, volunteer organization, and our goal is to encourage participation in government. We invite you all to join us. Although the name is reflective of our history as an organization that was formed after women fought the battle and won the right to vote, we are an organization of both men and women, so we invite all of you in the audience to join us, and we have some membership forms out in the lobby, and you can also visit our website at lwvlackawanna.org. I want to thank our partners this evening, the University of Scranton, for allowing us the use of the space, the College Republicans, the Political Science Department at the University of Scranton, and also ECTV filming here this evening, and it will be broadcast tonight at 10 o'clock for the first time. Excuse me. Some of the upcoming events that we have next week on Wednesday, we will be debating with the Scranton City Council candidates, those that are running on the Democratic ticket. And last night we had a debate with the Democratic candidates for this particular race. That's airing now on ECTV. We also taped interviews with the county controller candidates and with the Scranton City Controller candidates as well. And all of that information is available on ECTV and will also be made available on our website, again, lwvlackawanna.org. If you are appreciative of the work that the League does, we invite you to make a financial contribution on your way out the door. We'll have some people standing by the doors with baskets. It helps us to underwrite the costs, the incidental expenses that we have for doing these kinds of voter education services. The format for this evening is none of the candidates have been given any of the questions or the topics in advance. There will be no opening statement. They'll each be allowed 2 minutes for a closing statement at the end. In the interest of time, we're going to run for about an hour this evening. We ask that you hold all applause until after your candidate's closing, which allows us to move on quickly to the next question. We've also asked the candidates to make sure that they have no mobile devices on the stage. To start, we drew names to see who would answer the first question first. That will be, when we get started, Pat O'Malley, and then we'll move in around Robin. And then the same thing for the closing statements. We drew to see who would give the first closing statement. That will be Bruce Smallcombe. And again, we will go in a round robin fashion after that. So with that, let me begin by introducing our candidates this evening. Bill Jones is, and they are seated alphabetically on the stage as well. Bill Jones is a lifelong resident of South Abington Township. He provides legal services at 639 Jefferson, and he is also the elected auditor of South Abington Township. He was elected in 2007 and then re-elected to the position, which is now a 6-year term, in 2009. He's a graduate of Abington Heights High School and also a graduate of Penn State with a degree in human development. Bill is very active in the community. He's active with Thon fundraising to provide funds for pediatric cancer research and also for Wounded Warriors Hunts for Healing. So, Bill, thank you for joining us here this evening. Welcome. Pat O'Malley is our next candidate. He is a lifelong resident of West Scranton, and Pat is currently the banquet manager for Fiorelli's, which is a family business. He is a graduate of West Scranton High School, and in his prior career, he was a certified corrections officer, so he's moved on from that at this point now. Pat served on the Scranton School Board from 1993 to 2001, and then was reelected when he ran in 2007, and he is now currently on the Scranton School Board, and he serves there as a vice president. Pat is significantly involved in community. I told him he had to pick 3 or 4, and that was all I was going to talk about, but there's a lot more on his resume. He's a speaker and fundraiser for the Women's Resource Center, co-director of the Hook O'Malley Race Against Cancer, and co-director of the O'Malley Free Holiday Parties, and he is also an accomplished marathoner, having completed 15 marathons. And Pat lives in West Side now with his wife, Christine, and their kids, Patrick Jr. and Vincent. So, Pat O'Malley.
Thank you.
And Bruce, and I apologize, is it Smallcombe or Small? It is Smallcombe, okay. Is a lifelong resident of German, Pennsylvania, where he serves now as the mayor of German, and he has been the mayor for this, he's now in his 3rd term as mayor of German. He works for James O'Hara Construction as a heavy equipment operator and also part-time at Wegmans. He's a graduate of Lakeland High School, and again, also very involved in community service. Bruce created a Christmas show in German 19 years ago that he's been running ever since. He tells me he bakes the cake for it, too. And he also started a historical society in German. He formed a public events committee, and he's incredibly proud of having coached baseball, basketball, and football for 36 years. So those are our candidates for this evening, and with that, we'll get right into the questions. The first question goes to Pat, and that question is, what qualifies you to run for this office? And we're interested in any financial or managerial experience, or what major accomplishments you have in the private or public sector that distinguish you from your opponents.
What I feel qualifies me for Commissioner of Lackawanna County is my 11 and a half years as a school director in Scranton School District and currently being the vice president. I've had many opportunities to do great things in Scranton for 70,000 citizens. That includes taking probably one of the most blighted areas of Providence Road and building a brand new Scranton High School. At that time, most of the buildings and businesses in that area were boarded up. It looked like a ghost town. Today, it's like a thriving metropolis. At this point, there's new buildings being built on Mount Pleasant. We have Redner's, we have attorney's offices, we have the Icebox, we have Riverfront, and numerous other businesses. Also, I'm in a situation where I had an opportunity to receive a check and cut a check. I've been employed, I'm an employer, and I know what it's like to have a budget, and I know what it's like to move funds from one part of the budget to the other to make it work throughout the whole year. And that's what I believe is my qualifications for Commissioner of Lackawanna County.
Thank you. Bruce, the question to you.
Well, I believe my experience in the borough of German, I was a recreation director for 9 years. I actually had a lot to do with saving our gymnasium and turning it back into a recreation center. They were going to make a garage out of it. I was a zoning officer. I was on the zoning hearing board and had to hear cases. I've been the mayor for 10 years, and I'm the only mayor that's ever vetoed a budget in the borough of German. I gave them a budget they could work with, and they overrode the veto, raised taxes, and now they have a surplus because they implemented the things I gave them the next year. We have a surplus of $240,000 in the borough. I also was the Roads and Bridge Director for Lackawanna County. I have 4 years' experience of building roads and bridges. We built 10 bridges in the 4 years I was there. I spoke for the Federal Highway Administration at a 5-state road management conference. I was asked by the Federal Highway Administration because of the technologies that I implemented in Lackawanna County, and I taught road maintenance for the Association of Townships. I've had to help put together the budget for the Roads and Bridge Department, which was $850,000, and I also had to sit in on all the budget hearings at the borough for our budget, which was around $600,000 there. So I have the experience. I also own 2 small businesses. I was a partner with my father and my brother in a trucking business, and I also had a small sports card business. So I have business experience. I've worked for businesses, and I also have run departments.
Thank you. Bill, the question to you.
Well, first and foremost, I believe my education from Penn State. I have a degree from Penn State. I have a background in business law, economics, and statistics, which will help us with our financial issues coming forward. I've also had an opportunity to work in career services for the University of Scranton and help prepare students to find jobs. I've worked there, and we've used county grants to actually help tool some individuals who didn't go on to college or had dropped out of high school, and we helped them get the qualifications they need to go out and find a job. I've been auditor of South Abington Township since 2007. I've gotten to work with many individuals, with the supervisors. I've gotten to be involved with many projects that they have done. You know, on the county level, I don't have the experience as much as the 2 candidates I'm running against. I did not work under the administration of Cardero and Munchak, and I believe that I can bring a fresh perspective and new ideas with my experience. And I think that's what that county needs to move forward. So I believe that I'm the best candidate and most qualified.
Thank you. Bill, could you pull that microphone over right in front of you and lower it maybe so that it's a little bit closer?
Sure.
Thank you. The next question, Bruce, will go to you first. What is your assessment of the county's fiscal health?
I believe it's in very poor shape right now. We're in debt $220 million, and there is no plan to get us out of debt. We keep borrowing money. We borrowed money to build a brand-new roads and bridge building. We're borrowing $3.7 million for the wireless network they want to bring in. And the only way that we're going to stop that is to stop spending foolishly. We need to only spend on necessities and not things that we would just like to have. It's just like you're running your own household or a business. If you don't need it, you don't buy it. And we have to stop that. We just can't continue to do that.
Thank you. Tom, do you want to come down and deal with the microphone, please?
Sure.
Okay. All right, great.
Okay, are we good now? We're okay? All right. So the question, Bill, goes to you then. What is your assessment of the county's fiscal health?
We're in debt. We need to start fresh. How we can save money, I believe, is by bidding all goods and services over $2,000. We put it online. I think that's going to save a tremendous amount. We have a lot of overlapping services. We need to cut back on those. That can be done, and that will save a tremendous amount of money. We have a countywide purchase program in effect. We need to keep that up to date. If we have vendors bidding on, things that we need to purchase, we'll get the best price. That'll save the county money. We need to save the county money. First and foremost, I'm taking a pay cut of $10,000 to lead by example. If I'm asking other people to cut in departments, I'm going to cut and lead by example. And I'm going to urge my fellow commissioners to do the same, whoever is elected. So that over the course of 4 years will be a tremendous savings also. And we just need to make small cuts, and it'll end up being very large savings over the course of 4 years. And I believe with my background at Penn State, the statistical background, I have the ability to crunch the numbers and to get them to work and to save the county money. Also, we need to find untaxed properties. We have a lot of individuals that aren't, paying their fair share. We need to use our sub-assessors to go out and find those properties and to get them on the tax book so that they pay their fair share. Also, we need, 10 seconds. I guess that's it.
Thank you. Pat, the same question to you.
Very simple. We have to be fiscally responsible. When I become your commissioner, first and foremost, we're going to start a partnership with the federal government, which we had at the Lackawanna County Prison, and we're going to bring in federal inmates, which will inject an easy $1.5 to $3 million back into the budget. After that, I'd like to take an opportunity to evaluate each one of our services and see exactly where we could streamline and find ways that we could save money. I think we have to be cost effective. We have to put everything online. We have to put all of our any type of services that we are trying to acquire has to go online, and we have to get the best bang for the buck. We have to save money for the people of Lackawanna County. We're their stewards, and as their stewards, we have to make sure that their money is used effectively. We also, as commissioners, have to be concerned with their future. So we have to make sure that we're not getting ourselves into any more debt, such as previous administration and the current administrations. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question, we're going to talk about taxes, and Bill, you'll be the first to respond. Can the county continue to provide necessary services and support the infrastructure without a tax increase?
I believe we cannot raise taxes. We have so many individuals on fixed incomes right now that couldn't take that burden on. What we need to do, as I touched upon, is use sub-assessors. If we use these sub-assessors to go out and find these untaxed properties, it'll generate revenue, and then people will pay the fair share. Currently, only 88% of individuals in this community are paying the tax, which is their fair share. We need to get that higher. We need everyone to pay the tax. We can use municipalities and school districts to go out and reassess properties. If they believe that a building is underassessed, they go out, reassess it, so it brings money in not only for the county, for the municipality, and for the school district. And that is savings for you, the people. And that's what we need to work on. And thank you.
Pat, the question to you.
I believe that Mr. Jones hit upon some good points, actually, that there's properties that need to be reassessed out in Lackawanna County. But I think first and foremost, as your commissioner, we have to go out and we have to draw companies to Lackawanna County that provide life-sustaining jobs. And that's the only thing that we as commissioners that should be our utmost responsibility. Most of the past administrations haven't been in a situation where they went out nationally to draw jobs to Lackawanna County. I think it's about time that we brought family-sustaining, life-sustaining jobs to Lackawanna County to broaden our tax base and save the people that are actually paying all the taxes and the burdens that are on their backs, the monies that they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Bruce, the question to you.
The question was about taxes and our infrastructure. Now, 88% of the taxes that we are collecting is not enough. We need to go after more. That is definite. We have to try to get it as close to 100% as we can. There's a lot of people out there that are still not paying their fair share. As far as the infrastructure part of it goes, that's funded by the state. All the county roads and bridge projects are funded by the state. All the paving projects that you see done by Lackawanna County are state funded. All the bridges over 20 feet long are funded by the state. The problem is there's a bridge inspection reports that are done bi-yearly and they're not being looked at. That's why our bridges are falling down. We built 10 bridges in 4 years while I was there at Lackawanna County. We did one in-house for the first time in the history of the county. We saved over $100,000 to the taxpayers by doing it in-house. And we need to partnership with the municipalities. I heard last night that Corey O'Brien said he started a multi-governmental program that was actually started long before he got there. I started that when I was with Roads and Bridges, and we purchased a asphalt zipper with the city of Carbondale and the city of Scranton. And I teach road maintenance for the state, and when I go across the state, that's what I promote, is multi-jurisdictional cooperation. That's what we have to do.
Thank you. The next question, we mentioned it very briefly. We're going to talk about reassessment. So the question will go first to Pat. Discuss your position on the county's tax reassessment that's in progress but now stalled.
I believe that we absolutely need reassessment in Lackawanna County, first and foremost. But the main thing at this point is we can't put the burden on the hardworking middle-class families or the small businesses that are making our community run. I believe that we should be looking for alternative revenue sources, and I've worked with Mr. Bartoletta and Mr. Marino on their campaigns, and I feel very comfortable meeting with them to find alternative funds and grants to be able to offset the cost so that we can do this reassessment without putting the burden on our taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you. Bruce, the question to you.
Absolutely, the reassessment has to be done. We spent $3 million to start it, and then the current administration dropped it, and now we have to start all over again. If we get the reassessment completed, then we will have everybody paying their fair share of taxes, everybody will be on the rolls, and then we will have more revenue coming into the county. We have to look at, when we do that, make sure that we do not burden the elderly and the poor. If we're going to have to increase them because of the reassessment, we have to look at the way other counties are doing it and see if we can't phase their taxes in so that they're not burdened by this. We also have to go to the state and see if the state can help us do the reassessment. There are a lot of counties out there that are struggling to do this right now, and they're also looking towards the state for help. So that's where we have to go. The funding would be there if we take the money from the judicial sales and put it towards reassessment, and if we cut some of the fat that we have at the top.
Thank you. Bill, your response, please.
I think we need to do a reassessment. We just don't have the money to do it now. We can't rely on getting funding from the state. We need to create the funding ourselves. So with the sub-assessors that I've touched upon, that would bring in more revenue. Also, we can reassess, municipalities and school districts can go out and do reassessment. That would bring in a revenue not only for the county, but also for the municipalities and the school districts, and it would help the taxpayers.
Thank you. Bruce, this next question is going to go to you first, and this actually came from a University of Scranton student. As I said, we work with the College Democrats, the College Republicans, and also with the Political Science Department. Pertaining to, still the fiscal health of the county, how can the county generate new revenue that is annual and not a one-time revenue source?
Annual revenue is going to be increased by doing the reassessment in one area. We also have to go back and get the immigration prisoners back into the prison, which will bring us $3 million, but we can't do that until they put a full-time warden in place. There are some streams that can be implemented, like a county fair. We're probably one of the only counties that doesn't have a county fair. We could utilize our facilities at McDade Park or the stadium for something like that. We also could have annual trade shows such as heavy equipment shows, truck shows. They have them in every other county but ours. We never see them. Conventions from the Association of Boroughs, the Association of Townships, they can come into our area. That would bring revenue into our hotels. It would bring people in to stay overnight, and they do it in Hershey and Harrisburg and all over the state, but they never come to Lackawanna County. Some of the training that we're doing through the Association of Townships and the Association of Boroughs never comes to Lackawanna County. I've only taught one class in Lackawanna County in all the years that I taught. When they teach those classes, they utilize a hotel for the classes. They get catering revenue that comes in, they get motel or hotel revenue that comes in, and that could be not only an annual, it could be a monthly revenue that comes in in a small part for the county.
Thank you. Bill, the same question to you.
Can you repeat it?
Sure. How can the county generate new revenue that is annual, not a one-time revenue source?
Okay, first and foremost, with the sub-assessors, we go out and we get more people with the taxes. We're only getting 88%. We get out and we get more than that, we bring in revenue. Also jobs. That's the big thing. Right now with the Marcellus Shale, we have a tremendous amount of money that is going to be coming into this county and staying in this county. We need to retool our citizens, the people of this county, to get those jobs, not people flying in, staying in hotels, and working for these companies. We need to retool. We need to work with the CTC, Johnson College, to help these students in high schools to get certified and get ready to do these kind of jobs, which I think will bring in tremendous amounts of money, and then it'll infuse into our economy, which will be great. You know, just recently we had a school district get LEED certified. These students are getting credits, college credits, in the high schools. You know, we need to take a proactive approach, and if we do that, it'll bring more money into this community.
Thank you. Pat, the same question to you.
Like I had said in the previous question, we have to partner up with the federal government and start bringing the federal inmates right off the start for a $1.5 to $3 million increase in our budget, so we'll have extra finances. The big thing is jobs. And I believe that we have to go out and we have to showcase Lackawanna County for what it is. You know, I mean, we're in a great area. We have great educational institutions. We have great highway systems, and there's no reason why we can't have life-sustaining and family-sustaining businesses throughout Lackawanna County. We have all the highway going to Carbondale with lots of exit but no businesses. We have to put businesses at the end of those exits. We have to make sure that there's monies that are coming in this area, and we got to keep the best and the brightest in our community, and we can't let our youth leave the community no matter what it takes. There's no reason in this world why we can't make Scranton Wall Street West in its close proximity to down to the large cities at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Bill, the next question is going to go to you, and we're going to talk about economic development. So what's your knowledge of the county's economic development programs? Are they providing long-term value to the taxpayers? Are there other things that we should be doing?
Well, I think what we need to do is bring in jobs. Here in career services, I work with students that are leaving here that don't have the ability to get jobs in this area. They have to leave. So what I want to do is something similar to a LERTA program. I want to institute it. So it's a tax incentive program that has current businesses here hiring individuals so that they stay here and bring good jobs. It's a good job. We need good jobs. I'm meeting people. They can't take a minimum wage job. They can't take an $8 an hour job. They have mortgages. They need to put food on the table. We need, very good jobs that are going to pay their bills. You know, that's their biggest concern. And I'll work 24 hours, 7 days a week. I won't have any involvement in any other businesses or family business or anything like that. We need a commissioner that's going to be here for you, nonstop, 24 hours, 7 days a week. And that's what I plan on doing. You know, I'll be here.
Thank you. Pat, the question to you.
Like I just said previously, we have to bring business to Lackawanna County. That's the first and foremost responsibility if I become your commissioners. We have to bring businesses. We have to showcase Lackawanna County. We have to bring in family-sustaining jobs, and you have to be a full-time commissioner. And I will be a full-time commissioner. I'm stating that right now, and I absolutely will be a full-time commissioner of Lackawanna County. See, in life, sometimes people are in a situation where they were in the workforce and they went out and they worked different positions. Well, if I become a commissioner, that's going to be my full-time position in life. And my position as commissioner will be to make Lackawanna County work for the people of their county. It's time for a change, and it's time for us to make sure that Lackawanna County is what it was and what it should be in the future. A place to raise families, sustain employment, and keep the best and the brightest here.
Thank you. Bruce, the question to you.
Well, I believe we have to partner with the Scranton Chamber of Commerce and the Carbondale Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Builders and Trades Associations and the banking industry. We need to sit down with them all and sit down and figure out how we can bring business into Lackawanna County. We have the greatest highway system coming through our area. We have a direct route to New York City, Philadelphia, Boston, and the western part of Pennsylvania, which is Pittsburgh. We have a tremendous potential in Lackawanna County. We need to get these people together and sit down and figure out how we can do it. Our schools are tremendous here. They are teaching very intelligent students and bringing out the best of our county. We need to keep them here, so we need to provide some of those jobs for them. Like Pat said, we need to bring in some of the Wall Street industry into Lackawanna County. That's very important. Manufacturing jobs are not going to sustain this county. We need to bring in something with high-paying salaries, something where people can come in and make a living wage. I know this because my son came out of school and went to Myrtle Beach to teach school. My other son left here as a nurse to go to Philadelphia to be a nurse. Hopefully, we can stop that from happening. We need to keep our children investing in our Lackawanna County, and we do have that. We have the stadium, we have the ski slopes, we have the parks and recreation. We have everything to draw people here.
Thank you. Pat, the next question will go to you first, and we're going to move on and talk now about social services. How can the county's social services programs be improved, and are there any that should be discontinued or new ones that need to be initiated?
Well, first and foremost, as your commissioner, we're going to go through each department and see exactly what they have and what they have to offer, and see where we could streamline and where we can even provide a better service to the people of Lackawanna County, because this is what they pay for. I also believe that we have to make it accessible. I think that social services have to actually move around Lackawanna County. You know what I mean? There's a lot of small boroughs and townships that no one thinks about, like Jefferson Township, Madisonville. You got to think of these areas and a whole, you know what I mean, Thornhurst. Lackawanna County is big and it's broad, and we got to make sure that we get out to the outreaches of Lackawanna County, even if it's bi-monthly, quarterly, or whatever. Also, our commissioner meetings have to be at night. As your commissioner, I will make a promise right now, unless it's some sort of special meeting, it will take place at the administration building, but all the rest of the meetings will be at night, so it will be accessible to the taxpayers, just like they are as a Scranton school director. They're accessible to the taxpayers, so they're able to come out, voice their opinion, and let people know how they feel and how they feel their government is going. Because the truth of the matter is, we need to know exactly where they think our government should be going. And as your commissioner, I will listen to the people of Lackawanna County, and they will have an ear that will be to them. Thank you.
Bruce, the question to you.
Well, we're pretty much at the hands of the state. Most of our social service money comes from the state, so Lackawanna County doesn't have a lot to say in how we fund it, but we are the ones that hand out we hand out those services to the community. What problem we're having is getting the services to all of the communities. We have people out there that don't know what is available to Lackawanna County. Like Pat said, the outlying areas, for the most part, don't get a lot of service from Lackawanna County. I know before I worked for Roads and Bridges, I didn't know we had a road and bridge department. Never seen them. The trucks weren't lettered, we didn't know that. Social services is very important to everyone. That is one of the main things we should be doing for the citizens of our great county here. The social services part is children and youth, mental retardation, area on aging. Those are the people that need our help. Parks and Recreation are a great thing, but we need to help the seniors, we need to help the children, we need to help all those that need help. That should be our only function. Government gets involved in too many other things. Like the boundless playgrounds are a great thing. They're a wonderful idea. They bring in playgrounds for children who are handicapped, but that shouldn't be our focus. Our focus should be on the senior citizens and the children.
Thank you. Bill, your response, please.
The state does mandate a minimum of what we could spend on the social services. I think we need to, go out and help more of the individuals that are getting older in our community. We need to keep them in their homes. They don't want to, go to, nursing homes and such things. We need to keep the costs down. Also, I want to make meetings accessible. From the material I've been circulating for several months, I want to take these meetings to different parts of the county. I want to have them at night, and I want to webcast them. I want them to be accessible while they're being taken place. They're online. Individuals could tune in, and it's, they can click buttons and do different things and ask questions right from their home that the commissioners have to answer then. Also, what we're going to bring the department heads to the meetings to answer the questions for the people. The people elect the commissioners. They're supposed to represent the people's voice. If we sit up in 6th floor at 10 o'clock, the meetings are held, and no one's there, how do you know what the people want? You don't. We're here to represent you. And all along, I want to restore your voice back into the county government. That's what I've been running for, and that's one of my big platforms, and to offer you a fresh, ethical perspective to move this county forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Bruce, this next question will go to you first, and we want to tackle the big issue of Marcellus Shale. And as a precursor to that, I just want to say that Penn Environment this morning released a report that they had compiled over several months detailing information on the schools, hospitals, and daycare centers that are located within 2 miles of a well site. So if you're interested, visit pennenvironment.org for some additional information. It's quite an extensive report. It's 51 pages long. So it is a big topic to cover. So we're going to ask you first, Bruce, what actions should Lackawanna County government take pertaining to Marcellus Shale drilling?
We need to work with our communities with our planning commission and work with the Abington's planning commission and making sure that we don't bring this drilling into the populated areas. We keep it away from county parks. We keep it away from state parks. We keep it away from anywhere where there's going to be a problem. I'm all for drilling for gas that we need, but we seem to be having problems with the water, and we can't live without water. We can live without gas. I believe we should be taxing or at least putting some kind of a service fee on the gas as we're drilling it. I do disagree with our governor on that. I think that's very important. I do know that they are ruining the roads. I worked up in Dimmock on the gas lines for a year, and the roads up there were they were in horrible shape. They did rebuild them, and they are now in better shape than they are, but people suffered for a lot of long time up there. These gas companies need to be regulated. Our county needs to have our own environmental watchdogs involved in it, as well as the state DEP. And we have to train some people to do that. I know the state is training people to watch that now, but we need, at the county level, need to have our own eyes on that.
Thank you. Bill?
I believe it's bringing jobs here to stay. It's going to be $1 billion industry, and we need to, tool our individuals in here to be able to work on the Marcellus Shale and to be able to bring in revenue for their homes. Also, we need to protect our water. That's the main thing. Water is our future. We need to make sure that that's clean, and we could always rely on that being clean. The next thing is we have a county planning commission, and we need to use the county planning commission to develop a model for all these boroughs and townships. We have individuals from Carbondale to Taylor to Benton going to these municipalities and asking, what with these chemicals is going to happen. Well, we could set that up. The courts have said that we can do it through a planning commission. So we need to use our county planning commission, which we already have established, to establish a model so that these boroughs, towns have the answers for the people of this great county. That's what we need, and if we develop a great model, we could do this safe, reliable, and we can bring in great amount of jobs and tremendous amount of money that'll be put into this local economy, and we will thrive. Trust me, we will. We'll make this great, and this water will be safe, but we'll hold them accountable. Thank you.
Thank you. Pat, the question to you.
We've learned from the past, from our scarred landscapes, that anthracite coal was great for Lackawanna County, but we know what the scars were. We know about the groundwater that still goes into our rivers. We understand about the cave-ins and the coal pillars that were removed, and there was no safeguards back then. I believe that no matter what, we have to have safeguards, we have to have regulators, and we have to make sure that the water in the ground is the same as it was the day that they came in. Our water is there for generations to come, beyond everyone in this room, and we cannot leave a scarred environment in Lackawanna County. And as your commissioner, I will make sure that I meet with the people in Harrisburg to make sure that we have these regulations and safeguards in place. And it is a great opportunity for us to bring jobs and money into our area. But we cannot sacrifice our environment for money. It's happened in the past. It's not going to happen in our future. We have to keep our groundwater and our soil the way it is now. It'll have to be the same as when they leave. So we have to make sure that we keep a safeguard, and we make sure that there's regulators out there at all times to make sure that everything is run well and safe for the employees as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bill, this next question will go to you first, and I want to stay with the topic of the environment. What is your assessment of existing county environmental programs? What should be improved?
Some of the programs that we need to improve, I think roads is one of the biggest things. We need to go in and make sure that we stay up to date on our road system. We had a great infrastructure. It may have been built a long time ago. We need to keep that up to date. Also, I believe if we do that, we'll bring in the jobs. The jobs is the biggest thing going, and we'll keep our environment safe and the water safe if we can bring in jobs and hold these businesses accountable to what they're doing. The people need the jobs. That's the biggest thing, and we'll keep the environment safe. The state regulates things, but the biggest thing is with the county planning commission. The courts have ruled this is how you will regulate the drilling with the model from the county commission. The county planning commission. And if we regulate that model, then they will follow it, and that'll keep the environment safe, and it'll bring in jobs. And we need the jobs. We need jobs that are going to bring in great money for the people of this community. I've worked in career services here at the University of Scranton, and I'm seeing students leave, and I'm seeing students, take jobs that, they went to college to get a great job, and they're taking jobs that they don't feel are, the best of what they thought. And I think that we can do this safely and efficiently, bring jobs and keep the environment safe at the same time. And I'll work for you very hard to do that.
Thank you. Pat, the question, what is your assessment of existing county environmental programs goes to you?
I think that first and foremost, like Mr. Jones said, we got to make sure that our roads are in good shape, and they're not at this point. We have to make sure that we come up with a blacktopping program, which Bruce has alluded to. We have to make sure that our infrastructure is good and working order so that when we do bring these jobs and we bring businesses into our community, that they're able to bring their vehicles in, the larger trucks. Just like we were talking about the Marcellus Shell, we're in a situation where we're bringing in large industrial vehicles, and we have to make sure that all of our roads and bridges are in good shape and up to par to be able to handle this type of weight. the big thing is jobs coming to Lackawanna County. There's also other jobs that we need to bring to Lackawanna County. Like I had brought up before, we have to bring Wall Street West to downtown Scranton. We got to keep the brightest in the young in Lackawanna County, because what I'm seeing as an adult is that parents are raising their children, they're being educated, they're leaving the community for better jobs, and what's happening is as soon as those parents retire, they're leaving the community, and that takes away from our tax base. We have to broaden our tax base, and the only way for us to be able to do that is to bring jobs to Lackawanna County. And I believe that a good infrastructure and good roads would be a plus to bring these companies into our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Bruce, the question, what is your assessment of existing county environmental programs to you?
Well, I think our county does a very good job environmentally. We have the mosquito program that we have, and our DEP locally has done a great job. What we need to do is we need to make sure that everybody is getting the permits that they need. People are working in streams and creeks, and we know they're not getting permits. They're getting in and getting out as fast as they can. And I know when I've worked with the Roads and Bridge Department, we started to do some creek projects, and the people in my department never heard of a permit. They didn't know they had to get them before. So I know that's going on. I know there's people working in our streams that we're not getting permits. DEP, they can only regulate it if they know about it. So we have to be the watchdog, and we have to be able to go out there and tell people from DEP that people are doing these kind of things. We have to work with our regional, it's a Lackawanna and Luzerne Regional Planning Commission, to make sure that we preserve some of our farmland. We cannot have everything turning into a city. We need to have residential, we need to have farmland, and we also have to have industrial. We have a regional planning commission that takes care of that. We have to stay on top of it and make sure that we don't over-industrialize and that we don't lose our farmland. That farmland is very important for us because that farmland is a key to our success in life. We need to keep our farmers, we need to keep our water safe.
Thank you. Pat, this next question will go to you first, and I want to talk about regionalization and collaboration. What role should county commissioners play in promoting cooperation between the municipalities, school districts, and county government in order to reduce expenses for all three taxing bodies? And in particular, are there other programs and/or services that should be considered for consolidation, for example, emergency services?
I think that we should, first and foremost, we should have roundtable meetings with all of our supervisors, school board presidents, council presidents, mayors, the central administration from the county, and we got to come up with ways to be able to provide for these small areas. We got to be able to provide for the small townships, the East Bentons, the Jefferson townships, the Madisonvilles, and all the other areas, Taylor, Old Forge, Troop. I think a lot of them have been left out of the loop, and I think that we have to help them to provide services, and I believe that their community can provide services for us. I think one thing that would be a great idea is we have a thing called Mountain Crew at the Lackawanna County Prison, where they utilize inmate labor. There's no reason that we couldn't be running 4 to 5 vans out of Lackawanna County Prison every day to go out and do work in these small areas to offset their costs. And in turn, it would offset our costs because we wouldn't have to be involved in the work that would be done out there. Their own DPWs and their own workers could be involved in showing what needs to be done under the supervision of a corrections officer. I believe it would be very cost effective, and it would be a great opportunity and a good collaboration between Lackawanna County government and all of the outlying areas, which just seem to be forgotten about. And as your commissioner, I will make sure that they are not forgotten about in all areas of county government. And what was the last part of the question about emergency?
Well, I think you're just about out of time right now.
Okay.
Bruce, the question to you.
Regionalization and intergovernmental cooperation is something that is a mixed bag. Intergovernmental cooperation is very important. Total regionalization, to me, is not the answer. Total regionalization is going to bring higher salaries. It's going to bring less person-to-person services. We have great services now in most of our communities. Our volunteer fire departments are fantastic. Our police departments throughout the valley do a great job. We would like to maybe tweak that by bringing some of our services together, like German and Mayfield, two small towns can work together. They can work with DPWs together and police. I suggested that they take one overnight shift off, which would save the money if we switch from German to Mayfield. Alternating days, it's only a 2-mile square area, so we could eliminate some money that way. Intergovernmental cooperation is very important. I'm going to sit down in the boroughs and in the townships at their meetings, and I'm going to suggest how they can do that, how we can purchase equipment together like I did with Lackawanna County, how they can utilize services together, such as paving projects. When they're paving, they can bid their paving together. They can bid equipment together and purchase together. We have boroughs that buy grade-alls, and the next borough buys the same thing, and they only use them for a month out of the year. So if they would joint purchase them and share them, they would save tons of money.
Thank you. And Bill, the question to you.
Could you repeat it?
The question is, what role should county commissioners play in promoting cooperation between the municipalities, school districts, and county government in order to reduce expenses for all three taxing bodies? What programs and/or services should be considered for consolidation? And one area under consideration is emergency services.
Okay, I think we should take a lead role on that. Not take away from the identity of these small communities, but get them together. The county can work with them with an agility program where we go in and we help. You know, we might offer them funds, or we might offer them equipment and stuff like that. Well, for instance, stuff like that. We need to regionalize services with our medical coverage. If we group up with surrounding counties and we bid out and go for more medical coverage, we'll get a better rate on it. We will. And if we do that, it's going to save us tremendous amount of money, and it won't take down the quality of the health care that we'll provide these individuals. Also, if we team up with other surrounding counties, we can cut back on some of the administrative roles. A lot of times we have administrator for some position here where other counties do. If we get in a tri-county area and we have several other counties going on that, maybe we cover this administrative role, they cover the next. It'll save tremendous amounts of money in salaries. Plus, we won't have to pay then the coverage for health care for that individual. Maybe that county would pick it up. We need to regionalize services. That's great. And I'm all for it, and I want to take the lead because somebody has to. I will be that person.
Thank you. Did you want to add something?
Yes,
Pat?
I'd like to add that our volunteer fire department, like Bruce had just said, are second to none, and our police departments do a great job throughout Lackawanna County. I think that as county commissioners, we can go out and help them to find grant monies and monies that are available out there that they may not never even known that was available to them. We have to make sure that they're protected when they go into a house that's on fire. We got to make sure that our police officers are protected. Today's Lackawanna County is a lot different than the Lackawanna County of 20 years ago. We have over 900 some inmates at the Lackawanna County Prison. Probably 500 some of them are from outside of Lackawanna County, New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia. And they're not here to do good things for Lackawanna County here. They're here to cause problems. We have to make sure that our police department is armed and ready and that they're capable of being able to protect themselves in any situation that may occur. Thank you.
Thank you. Bill or Bruce, any additional that you want to add to that?
No, thank you.
All right, then the next question, we'll move on, and Dan, this one will be a 1-minute response time. How should the commissioners work with the controller, the county controller, to ensure that the best interests of the taxpayers are protected? And Bruce, the question goes to you.
Well, that's something they're supposed to be doing already. The controller is part of the county government. The controller is the person who oversees what we're spending and makes sure that we're not spending it the wrong way. The commissioners need to work together, and the biggest problem that we've had in county government for the last 3 or 4 decades is our county commissioners don't work together. So until our county commissioners can work together as one unit with our controller and with our treasurer, we're in trouble. You cannot have people sitting in the office and fighting against each other. They're supposed to be working for the people. If we had 3 serious commissioners who were there with the right reasons to do one thing for the taxpayers of Lackawanna County, you wouldn't need a minority solicitor. You would only need one solicitor for the 3 of them. We're paying an extra solicitor because we fight all the time. That's the reason we're there.
Thank you. Bill, the question to you.
I think we need to work hand in hand with them, but also there are systems of checks and balances. We need them in that position, and we need them qualified individual to be in that position. Which is great is I can go in there and I can do what's best for the county. I believe that I don't owe any, I know I don't owe creditors millions of dollars, so I can do what's best for the individuals of this county. So I think we need a great county controller to make the checks and balances for the commissioners.
Okay, thank you. Pat, the question to you.
I believe that the checks and balances is an absolute. We have to make sure that the commissioners work together. That's something that hasn't gone on probably in the last 12 to 16 years. The next set of commissioners, next Republican majority commissioners that come into office have to work together with whoever the minority Democrat is. That is an absolute must from the go. Then, in turn, it will be very easy to be able to work with the controller. The controller will know of any type of expenses, contracts, or anything that we're going to be working on before, during, and after. It's an absolute. He's the person who has to know about it. He's the controller, and he's going to work right alongside the commissioners. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. One last question before we move on to closing statements, and Bill, you'll answer this question first. I like to refer to this one as the promise to the voters. And just remember, the League of Women Voters will be here 4 years from now. If elected, what one issue will be your top priority, and how will the voters measure your success? 1 minute.
Okay. To restore your voice back into county government, transparency. I believe that's what we need. We need people coming out to these meetings. And I believe that moving these meetings at night will get your voice back into it. I truly do. And we need to hear what you want done in this county. So I believe, so in 4 years, if I do choose to run again, I hope that you can say, you know what, you did move the meetings. You did get our voice back, and you were an ear for us to talk into. You were there to listen. I knock on doors, and these people, they can't make it to the meetings at 10 o'clock. It's just unheard of. How do you make it there? And by keeping your taxes down. I'll keep them where they're at. We can't raise taxes. That's out of control. People can't afford to pay them. They have other things they want to do with their money, not pay taxes, escalated taxes. Thank you.
Thank you. Pat, the question is, if elected, what one issue will be your top priority, and how will the voters measure your success?
First and foremost, it has to be jobs. We have to bring jobs to Lackawanna County. We have to keep the youth of Lackawanna County here. And as your commissioner, you will measure that by what companies are actually building or already currently here. Like I said, it will be a total evaluation of Lackawanna County under a blue ribbon committee to find out what businesses are available that are vacant, what properties are available, and try to naturally bring in all the monies that we possibly can to keep the youth of our community here so they do not leave Lackawanna County. And as your commissioner, I will make sure that we tighten our belts so that we do not have to increase taxes. I've worked with many budgets. I've worked with a budget as a business owner. A lot of people actually cannot say that. I've been in all different type of employment situations. So I believe that I bring something to the table that most others don't. I think that Lackawanna County needs jobs, not just jobs, family-sustaining, life-sustaining jobs.
Thank you. And Bruce, the question to you, if elected, what one issue will be your top priority, and how will voters measure your success?
Top priority will be to keep our taxes down, not to say that we cannot increase taxes, because that is almost an impossibility. We need to do the reassessment. We need to make sure that our people are paying their fair share, so that we have to get that reassessment done. We have to sit down and work for every single person in Lackawanna County, from the trailer park to the mansion. We have to work for every single citizen and make sure that every one of them get some kind of benefits from Lackawanna County. And my priority is going to be to serve every single citizen. I will have an open door policy. There will be an email set up where you can contact me at any time, and I will probably even answer the phone, because I do it all the time. Somebody has got to be responsible for everything we do, and it starts at the commissioners. The commissioner is the man that's in charge, and that's where I'm going to be.
Thank you. And by the luck of the draw, Bruce, you get to give the first closing statement. So, Bruce Smollicum.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for having us here. This is a tremendous forum. It's a tremendous way for the people to be able to see the people that are running for the highest office in the county. Without something like this, somebody like me who doesn't have money wouldn't be able to get the word out to every single citizen. So it's very good forum. I'd also like to thank the University of Scranton for hosting this, because it's a great venue, and for the Young Republicans for helping out. It's great to see the young people get involved. I've started my life in my borough of German working for my community. I've worked 2 jobs my whole life. I've put 2 boys through college. I'm a lifelong Republican. My family is Republican since 1870. I believe that we need someone that's hardworking, someone that's dependable, someone that's honest, someone that's been there, someone that's done it. And I do want to clear up one thing about my job with Lackawanna County Roads and Bridges. I was hired because during the flood of 2003, we had a massive flood, and I dredged the creek from Lackawanna River all the way to the top of the borough. And one of the commissioners that was a minority commissioner at the time couldn't believe that the mayor was in the creek doing that. I did not know Mr. Munchak before I was hired, and I had only met Mr. Cordero once. So anybody who tries to tie me to them, I need to make sure that's straightened out and squared away, because I did not donate to them. So I am not part of the Cordero and Munchak administration, and that has to be clear. I am a hardworking person. I am willing to sit down with every single municipality. I will go to their meetings. They don't have to come to mine, but we will take the meetings to the evening. Every one of us agree on that, and that's something that's necessary, because the people need to be able to see what business we're doing. It's great that it's online and you can go online and see it, but the elderly don't have computers.
Thank you. Bruce Smallacone, thank you. Bill, your closing remarks.
I'd also like to thank the Women League of Voters for sponsoring this event. Also my family, the Joneses, Longos, Gillettes, and the Hogans. I'm running to be your full-time commissioner. It's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job. I will not own or manage my own businesses or any other businesses. I bring a fresh perspective. I'm not part of any old administration. I believe that, I could bring a fresh change, which is much needed. I've helped citizens secure jobs while at career service at the University of Scranton here. I believe my degree from Penn State, my background in economics, business law, and statistics are what we need to solve our financial problems here in this county. I ask that you give me the opportunity, like you did when these 2 individuals were under Munchak and Cordero administration, that I too get my opportunity. I stand by all my choices. When I chose to run in this race and provide you with a fresh perspective, I was in it. No flip-flopping. I was in it all the way. When I chose to be a Republican, I chose to be a Republican, and that'll be the way I will be when I die, a Republican. So all in all, I am a man of my word, and I will work for you as much as possible, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no other businesses. Thank you, and I really hope that you give me the opportunity to keep bringing fresh ideas and a fresh perspective, because if they die, it'll be the same old government you've had and the same old politics. That's what we need to get away from in this county. We need a fresh perspective. We need change. So I ask you to cordially vote for me on May 17th, which is Election Day. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you all coming out here tonight.
Thank you, Bill Jones. And finally, our last candidate for closing remarks, Pat O'Malley.
Well, I'd just like to let everyone know that I work for 3 administrations. I didn't just work for the Cordero-Munchak administration. I put in for a position in the Cordero-Munchak administration. I worked for county government since 1990 to January of 1998. And I put in for a position in Parks and Recreation. It just happened to be under their administration. So everyone knows I've been through 3 different sets of majority commissioners. As your commissioner of Lackawanna County, I'm going to do exactly what I've done for the 70,000 citizens of Scranton. I'm going to work hard every single day. and I work in a free position. A school director does not get paid. I make sure that our children are safe. I make sure that our educators are educating them. I make sure that our buildings are up to date. I made sure that the most blighted area in Scranton on Providence Road, where Scranton High School is now a metropolis. I was on the board from 1993 to 2001, and I had an opportunity to be there from the first vote to the last vote on Scranton High School. When people talk about the renaissance of the city of Scranton, they have to bring up Scranton High School and what developed in that community first. As your commissioner, I will make sure that I bring this diligence to the commissioner's office. I will make sure that these meetings are around the county, just like our school board meetings are around the district. We have them in all different elementary schools and high schools. I know what it's like to be a director. I understand what the problems are of the taxpayers of Scranton, and I soon will find out what it's like to be a commissioner, hopefully, in Lackawanna County and understand their problems. I will hopefully, in the 4-year term, as your commissioner, be able to bring my agenda forward. But first and foremost will be jobs. And if anything that Patrick O'Malley will be remembered for in 4 years from now will be jobs and jobs creation brought to Lackawanna County. And I humbly ask for your support on Tuesday, May 17th. Thank you.
Thank you. Pat O'Malley. That concludes our debate this evening. I want to thank all of our candidates for coming out here this evening and for their commitment to democracy. It takes a lot to run for a county office. It's a large geographic area. There's a lot of road to cover. So thank you. And how about a round of applause for all three of them? Thank you so much. I want to remind everyone that we are a volunteer organization. We are nonpartisan, so that means that people who hold positions such as board of directors and officers of the league cannot be partisan. So, you know, I'm a voter, but I don't tell you how I vote. But all of you who are partisan, who do wear your colors on your sleeve or your pins or whatever, are all invited to join the league. You don't have to not have an opinion in order to be a league member, so we do invite you to join the league. And again, if you do appreciate the work that we do, we'd ask that you consider making a financial contribution on the way out the door that would help us to offset some of the incidental expenses that we have for running these types of events. I want to remind you that the election day is May 17th and that Pennsylvania has a closed primary. So that means that registered Republicans vote on the Republican ticket and registered Democrats vote on the Democratic ticket. I was asked by someone coming in this evening, why didn't we have one debate with all the Democrats and the Republicans all at once? Well, first of all, there were 7 Democratic candidates. Very difficult to run a good debate with 10 candidates. And on top of that, that's not how the voters vote. The voters vote by party. So you will, on election day, vote for 2 of these gentlemen, who then in the fall will run against 2 of the Democrats. And we will elect 3 of those people in total to serve Lackawanna County. In the fall, we'll be back. We'll have a debate with the Republicans and the Democrats. But for the primary season, we're focusing on the parties. So next week, we will, if you're from Scranton and a registered Democrat, we will be hosting a debate with the Democratic candidates for Scranton City Council. We have not invited the only Republican person because there is no race on the Republican ticket. So for the primary, we're sticking to the party. In the fall, come on back. We'll have both of them together. So thank you again for coming tonight. We appreciate it. And don't forget to go out and vote on May 17th.